Okay, so welcome everybody to Lambtown Festival, and this is our live interview with Greenwood Fiberworks. We have Carolyn Greenwood here with us, so welcome on, Carolyn.
Hey, thank you. Great to be here.
Thank you. And where are you joining us from today?
So I am in Genola, Utah. This is where I have my studio, and it's just a beautiful fall day.
All right, and tell us just a little bit about what it is that you do. Obviously, Fiberworks is in your name, and we see some braids and some finished shawls there over your shoulder. So tell us about what it is that you do.
It might be easier to say, what do I don't do here? But actually, I love all fiber arts. I spin, weave, knit, crochet, felt, just about everything. But for my business, I'm a full-time dyer. I put color on everything I can find. Because I'm a spinner, I do a lot of fibers for spinners and felters, like what we have here. And then I also dye a lot of yarns for people who like to knit, crochet, weave, things like that too. So if it holds still, I put color on it. So
I like it. Now, how did you get started? Were you a spinner who decided you wanted something different, or were you a knitter and crocheter and got into it, or how did you get into the dyeing business?
you know, that's a good question. Many years ago when I first learned to spin, I had a hand spindle and I spun literally pounds of white thick yarn on a hand spindle. And when I was done, I asked my friend who taught me to spin, I said, how do I put some color on this? And she says, oh, you can do Kool-Aid. And so I went to the grocery store. I wanted some dark red and dark green for some Christmas stockings. And I put a little green Kool-Aid in a pot and a little red Kool-Aid in a pot. And I ended up with very pale green and very light pink. After numerous going to the grocery store, I ended up buying their whole display of Kool-Aid, about 100 or so packages of red cherry and lime green. And I got the color I wanted. I got deep forest green and cranberry red. Since then, I have discovered that there's ways to dye more efficiently. And I just started putting color on things because I've always been drawn to color. And my local guild members liked what they saw me working with and asked if I would sell to them. I thought they were being nice. I brought a few braids of fiber that I had just dyed. In fact, I didn't even braid them then. They were just a pile of fiber. And they bought them and wanted more. And that's kind of where we started. And since then, it's just exploded. I've been able to dye things. Having it on the internet's been great. Having an international market, selling to shops, and of course, going to shows. So I've been very, very fortunate to be able to do something I love so much and share that with others, share my love of color.
And you're a long way from Kool-Aid dyeing these days.
It's a good thing because that yarn smelled like cherry and lime for years.
Oh, that's great. Now, you had mentioned doing fiber shows, and obviously this year with COVID-19, we haven't been able to have any. So how has the cancellation of shows and COVID-19, how has that affected you as far as, not being to make it out there and having to transition to a much more virtual market?
Well, first of all, it's lonely. I don't get to visit with all my friends anymore. And that's probably one of the things I enjoy most is sharing ideas with the people in person as I go to shows. I learn from them and I get to share a few tips and make sure people enjoy everything they have for their projects. We've just switched over. We've been working really hard on our website and we've been having very good responses to that. I think making me stay home and get that finished, I kind of needed that. And so it's been unusual. I'm getting more used to being on a camera, which is not something I thought a yarn dyer would ever need to know how to do. But so here we are, we're making the best of it. We're connecting the way that we can and enjoying those moments when we can connect.
Yeah. And you did mention your new website. I checked it out. It's an absolutely gorgeous website. I think it does a great job of showing your whole lineup, and I love the different ways that you could sort by all the different items that you have. One of the things that I thought was really cool was where you have the speckled, the tonal, and the variegated yarns. So do you want to talk about those just a little bit?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we dye yarn in several different ways. And so we like to show, I think what people are most used to when they think of hand dye yarn is a variegated yarn, which is something that we started with. We love being able to put lots of colors onto our yarns. And then one of the things I tell people when I'm in person is I'm asked, how will this variegated yarn knit up? Because every dyer has a different way of doing their variegated yarns. So that's a good question to ask your dyer. And so I have some samples here. These were knit by the famous Gina Clemis, I have to say. So if you need socks knit, she's great. But here is that same yarn knit up, and you can see that our yarns don't pool or stripe. They just give a good overall blend of color. And that's intentional in our dyeing. We wanted colors in our variegateds that look a lot like what you see in the skein. So it's dyed in a very random manner. And so you will get a very good blending of colors in your variegated. From there, of course, I can't just stop a variegated yarn. So we do speckled yarns, which are so much fun. We took the same colors we dyed on this one, and this is our twilight colorway. And then we use them very lightly and then put on some dark speckles of dye dust. And you can see how pretty that is, the speckled dyed. And what's really cool is it's almost like paint by numbers when you come to our booth, because you can get the twilight variegated and then a twilight speckled. They're both the same dyes, and put those together into a beautiful, say, a 2-skein shawl, where these colors go so well together, but they contrast so nicely. Here's another speckled that we did with our variegated sea glass. You can see how pretty those go together too. I have a sock here for our speckled. So you can see the speckled, again, it has a really good overall blend. This is our speckled yarn here. So it just blends nicely and all the colors play nice together. You're not going to end up with those big blotches of color if that's, you know, what you're not wanting. Well, good, because that's what this does. So of course, you know, these are great for all kinds of projects, but if you're wanting to do projects that have a lot of lace knitting or cables or a very intricate type of fabric, you know, for instance, this sweater back here has a really beautiful lace panel. If you want those panels to show up in the lace, then you want to use a yarn that's a little more simple. And so that's why we started dyeing our semi-solids. These are kettle dyed, and there's just very slight variation of color in it, so that's why we call it semi-solid. We try for solid as a hand dyer, but there's always those little bits that aren't perfectly colored the same, which is what I think makes hand dyed yarn so beautiful. It gives a lot of interest to your fabric. But so we started dyeing semi-solids that coordinate again with our variegateds. If you're putting a project together and you want to use a lot of different yarns, I think it's a lot of fun to just choose a favorite variegated color, maybe match it up with a speckled, throw in a semi-solid, and then last but not least, you might want to toss in a tonal, which is where we take just one color of dye, but we apply it 3 different ways during the dye process. So you get everything from very light to dark in the same color. And people like to use these too with fabrics that are a little bit more plain, like a stockinette stitch, because it gives the illusion of one color, but it's very interesting because you've got all different shades of that color. So I love that, being able to just coordinate all the different kinds of dyed yarns together.
That's very impressive that you have so many different ways that you can apply the same dye through, whether it's a different technique or something like that. So
can I show a sample here? I do actually have a sweater. I want to show
absolutely. Oh, wow.
So here's a sweater that I did. I found a pattern. This is the Clara sweater, and you can find this on Ravelry. And we also actually sell kits for this exact sweater with these yarns. But what we did is we started with a speckled yarn, then blended it into a tonal yarn, and then finally at the bottom, we did a variegated yarn. And so you can see how much fun it is to take different kinds of yarns and just work them together. There's really no rules when it comes to color and putting things together like that.
That's gorgeous. I also love what you said earlier about all the colors play nice together. I think that's something that maybe only a mother and a dyer would think of, putting those words together, right? No, we're going to put you in the dye pot and you're going to play nice together, right?
They'll play nice.
Yeah, I love it. Do you have anything else in particular there you want to show us, or maybe some specials for Lantern Festival this weekend?
Well, thanks for asking. A couple things I do want to show. We have been doing a lot of kits lately. I find that it's nice to be able to get the right amounts of yarn into a kit so you don't have to buy more yarn than is necessary. So we now wind yarn off and put them into kits. And then we package them up really nicely. Here's one for the sweater behind me, which is the Love Note sweater. I have to show you, it's just so pretty. We put the skeins of yarn in there. It comes with a pattern in a nice little bag. If you go to our website and you click on patterns and kits, then you will see the different sizes that we have, and you can just order a kit. And all of our kits are priced 10% less than what it would be if you bought all the components separately. So our kits are great value, and then you get exactly what you need for your project. That reminds me, we do have a new yarn since last year. We're playing with mohair. Okay, I just love it. I just have to tell you, it's fuzzy, it's soft, and this is not your grandma's mohair, okay? I remember as a child back in the 1970s and 80s getting those very scratchy sweaters that made us cry all day long. No. This is not that. This is so soft. I know that our breeders are working to make yarns that we demand softness now. We want things that we're comfortable with. So we carry a full line of semi-solids in the mohair. We're doing some tonals and a few variegated. So it's a very soft yarn, and I can wear this sweater all day long. Doesn't bother me at all because of they use kid mohair, which is, you know, some of the first clips of the goat. So it's much finer and softer, and they mix it with silk, so it's just yummy.
All right. Now we've mentioned your website a few times, and is that the best place for people to find you and to purchase?
Yes, and it's very simple. We try, like you said, we've tried to organize it really well for everybody. If you have any questions there on the website, you can contact us, and I will be monitoring my emails. There's also even a live chat during business hours that we try to show up for. So be patient with us there. But most of the time we catch it, and we can even chat with you and make sure that you're getting exactly what you want. So www.greenwoodfiberworks.com is the best place to find us.
And I also noticed on your website you had yarn winding. So if somebody doesn't want just skeins, you guys will wind for them as well. Is that right?
We do. We just have a nominal fee for our time on that, but you click on yarn winding, and for $1 or $2, we will wind your skeins into nice little cakes for you.
All right. Okay. And just to wrap it up here, where can people find you on social media? And then do you also have a newsletter where they can keep in touch with you?
Yes, thanks. We are on Facebook and Instagram right now at Greenwood Fiberworks. So come and follow us there. We put up new things every week. We have a really great group of friends. We show things to each other. We help each other. We're a very friendly and inclusive group, and we like it that way. And we invite everybody to come and join us. We do have a newsletter. You can sign up for that on our website. If you scroll down to the bottom of our homepage, sign up for our newsletter because we have lots of exciting things happening in the next couple of months. So you'll want to be informed and join us there.
Oh, all right. I like it. That is a great way to end with that little teaser right there. Sign up so that you don't miss out. Well, thank you, Carolyn. We really appreciate it. I hope you have a great Lambtown Festival weekend, and thank you to everybody else for tuning in.
Thank you, Roy. Have a great time.
Okay, bye.